Welcome back to No Makers Podcast. Podcast.
Hey, Brennan.
Hey, Ben.
How are you doing?
I'm doing.
Yeah. It's the old B&B today, isn't it?
You got the old Bren and Ben.
Old Ben and Bren.
Ben.
The Ben and Bren, not Bren and Ben.
Bren Ben.
It's Ben and Bren.
Bren Ben.
The B&B. We should up a Ben and Breakfast. Or a Bren and
Bren and Ben's B&B.
Ben's Better Bacon.
That's 3 B's, Ben.
I mean, you know. That's how many we want, right?
Yeah.
How many B's do we need?
6.
Brennan's
Ben and Bed and Breakfast with bacon and bananas.
Ooh, what about pork chops?
Pork chops?
Like they're bacon, but they're pork chops. Have you never heard of those?
No.
Me either. That's an invention we should come up with. I think it would be a great idea.
I think that would be something that maybe you should talk to somebody else about that.
I'll talk to myself later about it. Yeah.
Maybe that can be one of your special episodes.
Well, I've got some ideas for that coming up, actually.
Well, let's talk about them.
Well, I really want to kind of make it almost like a mixture of
You were talking newspaper
/ radio show.
Okay.
Almost like I want to have like different sections. You know, you have your stories in your newspaper. You've got the weather.
Okay.
And you've got, obituaries. I want to do that.
Oof. Got a little dark.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I turned off the lights in here for a second. But on the last one, I did a little game, a little Sudoku segment that I really enjoyed. Maybe next time we can do a crossword. Don't know how I'm going to pull that off, though, because I'm terrible at them. Probably take up the entire time of the podcast, honestly. But, it'll be a special occasion.
Well, when that episode comes out, we'll label it special episode.
Yeah, there we go.
That way people can find it.
I want to do a whole horoscope thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What are you?
I'm 21.
I meant your star sign.
Oh, my star sign. I am a Leo.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. I'm pretty sure I'm a Taurus.
I believe so.
I don't know
you're
what that
April 11.
420, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's the same day as my brother, I think.
Yeah, it's the same day as Weed Day, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
420 skrillex dollars.
Wow. That took a weird turn.
Well, I mean, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Do we?
I mean, Skrillex, I haven't heard that name in some time.
Yeah, he's become largely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Well, a lot of people don't know is he was actually from a band from First to Last.
Yeah. They were like a metalcore type band.
Yeah.
What else would you describe it as? What else?
Like that post, like kind of
post-core?
Jesse calls it bitch metal.
Well, yeah, it's metalcore. A lot of it's metalcore.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your metalcore, August Burns Red, As I Lay Dying, which aren't necessarily bitch metal. But, well, I don't know, some As I Lay Dying stuff, a little bit.
Yeah.
Although he
he was
his wife.
a bitch, so.
Yeah. He's out.
He puts the bitch in bitch metal.
They were going to, like, completely get rid of him, but they, like, brought him in.
They brought him back, and he's actually been doing, I think I follow him on Instagram because, I mean, he's just a jacked dude.
Yeah.
I remember seeing them live in Norfolk.
Yeah.
With
Virginia?
Norfolk, Virginia. Yeah. With Devil Wears Prada.
Okay.
Chariot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a really good show. But they were the second band, and he got up there and he just looked jacked as fucking hell, dude.
Yeah. Well, the reason why everything happened, they say he said he was all jacked up on steroids when he got that hitman to kill his wife, and that's what he blamed it on.
Well, I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, not just for the sake of him going insane and trying to kill his wife, but being as jacked as he was.
Yeah.
And he's still that jacked. I don't know if he's still using, but I saw a video of him, I think it was like yesterday, that he was working out, and like he was still just as jacked as he was. So.
Well, it's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Weed?
No.
Cocaine.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah, the old white powder.
Oh, right. The old lightning sugar.
I haven't heard that one before.
Oh, well, you did just now.
I just heard that with my ears.
It's one I came up with about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I was in a real low point. I had just lost my house to a foreclosure. the realtor came and decided it wasn't enough money that I gave him for the house. I told him 12. He thought million. I meant dollars. So he kind of backed out at the last minute once I was there with all my stuff and cash in hand. It wasn't really good enough for him. I was like, this, put this in a savings account and, 150 years.
You'll have $13.
Yeah, exactly. That interest accumulates a lot quicker than you anticipate.
Well, let's talk about that for a second.
Interest?
Well, that kind of pivots us in a direction that we can talk about the stock market.
Ooh,
what's going on there?
Yeah, we've got a lot of interesting stuff.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, GameStonk.
Yeah, GameStonk. And Dogecoin.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
That's come back.
Yeah.
So let's
never
talk
really
about.
Leave. Never left our hearts.
Well, I mean,
I've been invested in Dogecoin.
Have you?
For the past 17 years.
Okay. All right.
Theoretically speaking, spiritually,
okay.
I have been very into Doge.
All right. Yeah. Well, going back into the stonks direction. So, for those that don't know what happened, a Reddit group, our Wall Street Bets, I believe, is what it was.
Yeah, something Wall Street.
They all just up and decided that they were going to buy GameStop.
GameStop stock.
Yeah, GameStop stock. And there are a couple other companies that they decided to do this with.
Yeah, like AMC, I think, is one of them.
BlackBerry.
That's going on?
Yeah.
That is going on? I've heard about that one. I didn't know if it actually happened.
And then there's another one that I can't remember off the top of my head. But basically what they did is they all decided to buy these stocks
and
at the same time.
Yeah,
and it drove the stock price skyrocket. Yeah. I mean, I think GameStop went from $40 to $150.
I think it was actually, the low was $18 before
it
started going.
Wow.
Yeah. And then now it's like the peak was at like over 400.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane what they've done, which the media and anything that has to do with stocks is saying how terrible of a thing it is that this happened. Yeah. It's market manipulation.
There was a video of a billionaire crying on live television. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, we are so what they have essentially done is what investment groups do, right? They put all this money. It's a pump and dump. They pump this thing up to skyrocket, and then they sell all their shares when it gets high. They do that. Yeah. That's a normal thing that all these guys just do.
That's just what they do.
That's literally their job, is to do that.
Yeah.
So when the proverbial because I didn't have any part in this, but when
we the people
decide to play their game by their rules, they don't like that. That's why Robinhood was limiting.
They stopped you from being able to buy any GameStop stock.
Yeah. Well, in the AMC, one of the guys at work, he tried buying AMC, and it would let him buy one share.
Oh, wow.
That's it. So they're manipulating the market in that way. I mean, that is market manipulation, not everyone deciding to buy the same stock. But what's also crazy is that Robinhood, there's a trail that traces back to some of these investment groups.
Yeah.
So that is, if Robinhood itself was its own entity, it might be a little bit different, because them being a private company can do kind of what they want to do with their app, because it's not the Wall Street.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit different, but in the regards that they're owned by some of these companies, that's very shady.
There are a few other good investment apps. I know Jesse has one. It's I want to say it starts with a P, Paradigm or something like that. And he says so far like it's one that still allows you to buy stock in each of those companies and everything like that. And it's not really manipulating the market the way that Robinhood does, and the same as quite a TD
lot Ameritrade and all of the big names and
the big names
in trading.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's wild. This is going to change some people's lives. I mean, the people that got in at $18 and it skyrocketed to $400. I mean, they're making shit tons of money.
If you bought like 4 of those, 4 $18 stocks, now it's worth 4 times 400. That's
Well,
$1,600.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. And that's assuming you only bought 4. And
Well, and if it's $18, most people that like kind of trade, they're gonna buy a handful of them. So they might buy 20.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good chunk of money. If you bought 100, I mean, you're sitting 16 grand. That's wild.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
I think, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see where this goes, because it's either, just like everything else, I feel like it's either going to get worse or it's going to get better. It's going to either end up with a lot more potential for regular people to become stock market buyers.
Well, I don't think they'll ever let that happen. I don't
know, because there's actually a lot of pushback even from the media that I've seen. Even from the media.
See, I haven't seen that. I don't watch the news anymore.
I've seen, like, I'll get on YouTube and you know, stuff pops up, CNN, Fox News, all this stuff. And honestly, even on Fox and CNN, the like reporters and stuff like that are really like
neutral, or they're
more kind of supportive towards the little mans.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. The
not
thing
to like a egregious extent.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's still Fox.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that I find funny is the way that the government's trying to come in and control it. Because the SEC, they were being pressured by politicians.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren was one who was very vocal about her support in the government having more control over the market.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because
why? Why do we want that?
Why
don't
do we
want them to have control?
They want that.
How would they have control over it? I'm very curious. Do you know much about
that? I don't know, but I believe it would be some form of limiting how many shares people can buy.
Yeah. I mean, if that is applied to everyone, including the richest of the richest, then you know what? Maybe it can be a good thing, but it is a very dangerous thing.
They'll find ways to go around that.
Yeah, they'll just buy
such as investment
under
groups.
a different name. Or, investment groups.
So they will find rules that benefit them and suppress us.
Yeah.
What I find crazy is at the beginning of this pandemic, back in February of 20. Which is weird to say.
Yeah.
That's wild.
God, it's almost been a year.
It's almost been an entire year.
Yeah.
I mean, it
like
has been since it's been
March
a thing.
will be a year for
March
us.
will be a year, which is wild. Doesn't feel like it. But at the beginning of the pandemic, back in like March or February, there were, I believe, 4 politicians.
I think there was more than that.
Really? Okay.
I've heard of a lot of different politicians
that were selling stocks before we had got announcement of the pandemic.
Yeah, before they even let us know, before they even had before we even had a real chance to understand what was going on. They knew, and they were like, before we alert the public, let's make sure our money's safe.
Yeah. Well, and then they bought a bunch of like medical stock.
Oh.
I believe. I don't know for a fact, but I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And then Nancy Pelosi, which I cannot stand her, she just bought a bunch of Tesla stock right before the government announced that they were going to switch over to electric vehicles as like fleet vehicles.
Yeah.
So the rules don't apply to them.
No, the rules do not apply to politicians or billionaires or anybody like that, because they know how to manipulate them. And if you understand how to manipulate them well enough, then you can do essentially whatever you want.
Well, and that's part of the reason why, like, when Trump's tax records came out, everyone was all bent out of shape that he didn't pay any taxes. This should be illegal.
But I mean, that's what every
smart business person does.
Yeah.
What I find wild is the fact that Biden has been in politics 50 years. Well, on a politician's salary, he should not be a millionaire.
Yeah.
But he is.
Well, that's because
and
of
I
a
know
lot
that
of different
he has
reasons.
investments and a whole bunch of other stuff.
But also, I mean, you have to understand, he left the vice presidency, and when you do something like that, you're able to go and like give talks for hundreds of thousands of dollars and really make money that way. So that's kind of a whole different direction of thinking.
But I'm not a Trump supporter. I will not say that I am, but I think that him not paying taxes isn't a bad thing.
That's a tricky way to look at it, Because, yes, it is actually a bad thing, but he's...
it's like, a weird thing.
Yeah, it's not good that a person of that position is not doing what a law-abiding citizen should be doing.
But he was abiding by the law.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's... yeah, I mean,
like, he didn't do it in a way that he was stealing the money from the government. He was just doing things that he's supposed to do to not have to pay taxes.
What do you mean by supposed to do?
Writing off certain things, expenses.
And take this as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm a real rich billionaire.
Sure.
There's a local artist who has this painting. I'm like, oh, shit, that's a great painting.
Mm-hmm.
Let me buy that. The person gives it to me for like $20, $50, whatever. And then I just have a couple of my billionaire friends come in. People
appraise it. Say that they'll spend $1 million.
Exactly. They'll be like, oh, I would spend this much money for this.
Mm-hmm.
That instantly brings up the price for that. And then you can donate that portrait or whatever it is to a charity. And then
have
all
a tax write-off of that amount.
Get deducted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you, quote unquote, supposed to do that? No,
well, no, but it's a thing for a reason.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean by it's a thing for a reason?
Well,
it's a thing
let
for a reason
me
because
put
you
it this
can.
way. If I could, I would.
Yeah.
If I had the ability to say, hey, I want this friend of mine who's an art critic to tell me that this painting that I bought is worth $1 million.
Now,
I would then donate said painting to a charity. I would do that if I had the ability to. I don't have those kinds of connections.
Why?
Well, I just answered the question. I don't have those kinds of connections.
Why would you do it?
Oh, because I don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah, so at the core of the issue there is taxes.
Sure.
So we shouldn't have to be going through all of these loopholes to get rid of taxes.
Sure, I agree. But
there's a certain extent where you do need taxes, you do need these things, but it also comes back to what are they spending the taxes on.
And that's my issue with taxes. That may not be what Trump's issue is with him paying taxes. He may just want to keep his money.
Yeah.
Again, I don't believe taxes should be a thing. I think he should keep his money.
Yeah.
Well, income tax. That's primarily the taxes that we're talking about when we talk about write-offs and that kind of stuff. You would still have taxes on goods.
Yeah.
So if I went out and bought something, I would pay taxes on whatever I'm buying.
Yeah.
That money then gets funneled back into the economy.
I can be okay to a certain extent with income tax and all the grocery tax and stuff like that, but what gets me is stuff like property tax. Why am I going to pay taxes on something I already own?
So the idea behind that is that you use your property on public roads. So you're paying property tax on the value.
My mom still has to pay property taxes on our 7-8 acre property. Why? I agree. Yeah.
I'm just telling you why they would say that you have to.
But we are not using any sort of government funding.
It is apparent by the amount of money
that
we sent to Pakistan in the middle of a pandemic for a pandemic relief bill.
How is this correlating? How does that correlate?
That's where our taxes are going.
Well, yeah, that's where our taxes are going.
The thing is if they use the taxes that they get for the things they say they're using them for, then we wouldn't have the issue of property taxes. You know, if they would actually do what they say they're going to do and not, I mean, Jim Justice only fixed the sidewalk here in Lewisburg because it was an election year. You know, if they use the money when they need it, we should not have homelessness in this country.
Yeah, if we do everything correctly,
absolutely no reason.
If we did things the correct way and did not have as much corruption that we do, then
if we simply stopped sending money to other countries, and I know that some of that's needed, but the 72 million or billion or however much it was for Pakistan for the gender studies, that did not need to be a thing. Not in the middle of a pandemic. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's definitely more issues than just overseas spending. Like, some of it is justified, some of it isn't. Just as some
military expenses.
Yeah, but also some expenses in the U.S. are not needed at all. I mean, there's like over $10 million going to new furniture in the White House. Why do you need, you know, I can go down the street and grab a goddamn fucking couch somebody laid out in the street. Give the politicians that. They don't need a nice leather reclinable couch.
Well, and
in
you
the
know
Oval
why
Office.
they buy that stuff?
Why?
Because it's a tax write-off.
Wait. It's a tax write-off for the government?
Yeah. I mean, the government would technically be a business, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. That's tax. This is kind of a, I don't know. This is a different.
I don't know factually if they are
tax.
a business, if they get taxed.
Yeah.
I mean, if they did, they'd find a way not to be. So
Taxing any government employee or anything like that is so redundant to me.
And the other thing too is the debt that we have as a country. We've been giving all this money to other countries for however long, right? We don't owe this money to other countries. Mm-hmm. That's what the American continent, that's what America owns its people, owes its people.
Yeah.
That's our money that is the debt of our country, the people's money. Does that make sense? The government owes us that money, not other countries.
Well, yeah, it's not their money.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't upset you?
There's a lot of things that upset me, Brennan.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of things I don't have control over.
Yeah.
And so you just have to choose to not become upset over them.
Sure. Well,
you just have to have an outlook of, you have to understand and come to a mutual
I
agreement with yourself.
I get very passionate about taxes.
I know taxes are
the only things that are guaranteed are taxes and death.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, there's a song. Do you know Kyle Rising?
No.
I think you actually went to school with him. I really want to say
okay.
you did. But he is the vocalist and main writer for the band Cincy Trails. They're like a reggae band, which originally was from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. But he went to school here for maybe a year or two.
Okay.
Long story short. Well, no, I'm just going to make it a long story.
Cool.
He came up here about, I want to say it was like 3 years ago to do a show. And he played at a local venue around here, the Asylum. And where am I going with this? I'm just going to tell this story.
Yeah.
He played a show at the Asylum. I was there for it. And him and his band, they needed a place to stay. So we ended up actually staying at my stepfather's cabin and had them stay there. And it was like the highlight of my life because they're a really, really good reggae band. And then eventually they finished their little East Coast tour. And then he went to the West Coast. Just him. He left his drummer. His drummer left the band, and his bass player didn't want to go all the way out to California. Mm-hmm. He was like, I need to go out there to really make it. And like at the time when he was over on the East Coast, very few followers, very few people who listened to his music. But he went over there, and do you know the band Stick Figure?
No.
Really big name in the reggae world.
Cool.
Really big name in the reggae world.
I'm not in that world.
Yeah.
So.
But his like one of his main producers, or just like people who's involved in Stick Figure, K-Bong Kyle met K-Bong and they started recording and producing music. He got his own like bass player and a drummer out there, and boy, he's blowing up.
Nice.
Like he's really getting a good following. Like on Spotify, they've got like well over 100,000 listeners and like 500,000 listens on songs and stuff like that. I mean, it's not like whoa, but it's like getting up there. I mean, that's getting some traction.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how I was. What did I start on?
I don't remember.
Taxes. Oh yeah, I remember now. He's got a song called Taxes.
Oh, sweet. That was a lot.
Yeah,
just to get to that.
Yeah, but one of the lines in it is, "There's only two things you have to do in this world. You got to die and you got to pay your taxes."
Yep. I mean, that's the truth. There's a Reliant K has a song, Life, Death, and Taxes.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm very passionate about not wanting to pay taxes. Not because I don't want to help people.
I don't think you're passionate about not paying taxes. I think you're passionate about your taxes getting used in the correct way that you want them to be used.
I'm passionate about not paying taxes. Well, I know where my money needs to go.
Where does it need to go?
Into Sparrow Cloth. You wanna do an ad break?
I think we can do an ad break.
Let's do an ad break.
Let's do an ad break. All right, guys, we have something extremely exciting.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
It's here. They're here. Do you know what's here? Beanies.
Beanies.
That's right. We have 5 different colored
Yeah.
beanies.
Yeah, you were going through them earlier.
Yeah.
What are they, Ben?
We have navy blue. We have stone gray.
Ooh.
I believe it's heather green. Maroon. And a lovely yellow beanie.
Oh, the yellow's my favorite.
Honestly, it's my least favorite because
Really?
I hate yellow.
Oh,
that's
well,
irrelevant.
that's a different thing.
Doesn't matter. But they are some wonderful beanies. They've been on back order for about a month. They took a while because of the
COVID.
Exactly. But we have those in stock now. Anybody who wants a beanie, we got them. Let us know. You can use 10% or you can use code MMP for Moment Makers Podcast at sparrowcloth.com to save 10% on not only the beanies, but any product that you would like to buy from Sparrow Cloth.
I also want to mention too. So when this is released, it'll be the 1st.
Yeah.
And January's drop will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have February's drop coming.
We do, and I'm very excited about this one. What the designs that I have seen that you have done, they are extremely aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's definitely, honestly, sadly say, but my favorite out of the 2 drops that we have done.
I mean, it's my favorite too. The January's drop, to be fair, was a very niche theme.
It was a poker theme, which wasn't exactly everybody's forte.
Yeah, but I think this doesn't really have a design theme, but it does have a kind of underlying theme.
Yeah.
The theme for this drop this collection is going to be go make yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of a play on
go fuck yourself.
But we're asking you to go make your moment.
Yeah. So there's a handful of designs. I think there's 4 designs in this drop, and they're kind of retro. A couple of them are, they're just nice.
Yeah, they're very aesthetically pleasing. You got a couple like skeleton-esque ones.
Yeah,
that
Reaper.
A really nice, almost like rustic vibe. I don't know how to describe them.
Yeah.
But if you just have a look, I'm sure by the time you're hearing this, they will be up and ready to go. If you want to check out our Instagram,
I might drop this one early because I'm so excited about it. I want people to have a little more time with it. So I might drop it.
February's a short month. So.
I might drop it as you're listening to this.
Oh goodness!
It's just a flash drop.
Oh God! Wait 1 second. Here it is. Wait. Oh, keep talking, Brennan.
Oh, where? Here it is.
What's this? It just dropped.
I like that.
I hope that actually got caught.
Well, if for those at home that did not hear, again, because we don't record video for this podcast, but I said here, Ben dropped a case.
We just dropped it.
We dropped the collection.
We just dropped it.
So first link in bio or first link in description will get you directly to both the beanie. The first link is going to be for the beanie. The second link is going to be for the collection. Reaper.
Yeah.
Go make yourself. Back to the podcast.
Hi, Brennan. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Yeah. We're acting like we did this in pieces.
We did.
I like it.
All right. Let's talk about
music.
Absolute Love Affair.
Oh.
Or as we like to call it, ALA, because who wants to say Absolute Love Affair?
Oh, it's such a long,
it's a long name, and also, I don't know, it's kind of a weird name.
Well, we've tried changing it a couple of times.
Did not work.
We just can't.
No.
We're known too much in this area.
I don't even know if we're necessarily known too much, but at this point,
that's fair.
At this point, it's just like we've stuck with this name for like 7 years.
It's been a while.
Just do it.
I mean, we've played shows in Covington.
I mean, we've played shows
all over.
Yeah, not like all over.
All over.
I mean, the tri-state area.
Yeah, but it's been a while. I mean, we've had the name for a long time.
The actual last show that we did was January 2019, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. You weren't even there.
Nope, I wasn't.
That was it was a little bit of a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was at the bowling alley, wasn't it?
No, that was before the one I'm talking about currently.
Oh.
This one was the Winter Music Festival.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, we're actually in the process of recording an album.
Yes.
And we have been since about November. It's a slow process. I mean, we all work,
me and Caleb have kids.
Yeah, you both have kids. I work.
Jesse works.
And so,
we all work.
Yeah, I'm just coming home at the end of the day on any of my days off, and I'm just popping in trying to record, like, do I need to, make the guitar sound like this? Do I need to pop this in, do this, whatever it is? So I'm just trying to spend as much of my free time to do that as possible. But good God, there's just so much to be done.
Yeah.
And thankfully, it is coming along pretty nicely.
It is.
We're currently in the vocal stage right now, vocal and acoustic guitar. And we have I'd say almost like 4 songs that are really, really close to being done.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. We need to do bass and drums for each of the songs, but that'll come after we do the vocals and acoustic guitar. And once that happens, I'm so excited to play bass on this record. Yeah. I have so many ideas. Yeah. Especially for a song we have called Age ADD. And you know what's funny about that song?
Huh.
Well, the chords are AGE ADD.
Oh, kind of a play on a take on that.
It's definitely about attention deficit disorder.
Yes, it is.
But the lyrics
dragging it out. Dragging.
Yeah.
Dragon.
We just play on that for quite a while. It's a lot of fun. I'm very excited for that bass line. Yeah. There's a lot of room to play around.
Oof. We're in the fun stage of recording. The first 6 weeks. I mean, we didn't record every week, but the first 6 weeks were kind of the annoying process of it, because you have to get the template just right. Yeah. So that was kind of the annoying part of it. But once we pushed through and got that, I'm really enjoying this. I mean, what we've done with West Chance is beautiful.
You just keep referencing West Chance.
I love that song.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you love that song, but
I love City Limits too.
Yeah.
What we've done so far with that and what we're wanting to add, I really think we'll set it off.
Households is one that I'm super excited for.
Yeah. I'm excited too. The harmonies that we've kind of found on that are beautiful.
That's really the song that got me into attempting to harmonize with ALA. Yeah, because that song has been written now for probably about 5 years actually, because we wrote it right after you left to go to Virginia. Yep. But we didn't really do any. I didn't do any harmony or anything on that song for the longest time, and then
when I was here, I was the one that primarily did the harmonies.
Yeah, and
you were really you hadn't really started singing.
I didn't sing at that point in my life.
And then I left, and you kind of were like, "Oh shit! Well, what do we do?"
Yeah. Well, honestly, it was we had you left, and then Tyler started drumming. He did some harmonies there for a while, and then basically after a while, me and Caleb kind of stopped talking, and I stopped being in the project for about a year or something. Yeah. And then we decided to get back together. We were both kind of going through some shit at the time. And then once we got back together and Jesse started drumming for us, we're a 3-piece, and I started realizing more and more
how much harmonies add.
Yeah. And there's so much room to do these types of things. It's we're a very vocal oriented band.
Yes. And you will hear that on this record.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're very much so that's our thing, as well as having an intro with drums and then a verse.
Yeah, all of our songs are structured the same way.
So, but part of that is the way that we've kind of wrote these songs.
Yeah, they all came about every single song.
They were just live.
This and blah blah blah.
But because they were live, we kind of had the I don't know why, but that's kind of our thing. We did an intro to kind of set the tone, and then drums to kind of give it the hype, and then verse, and that's just.
I look at them; they're all very classic songs. Yeah. If that makes sense. We're not we're not a progressive type band. Yeah. Which is funny enough. That's usually where I more so lie. A lot of my songs are very weird.
Experimental.
No, I don't know. Experimental to a certain
kind of
extent.
Like that kind of periphery, kind of weird.
I used to kind of play
weird time signatures and
which
stuff.
I still do every once in a while, But like this, I had a riff the other day that I was playing around with, and at one random point I was like, "Oh, that's in 9/4." Didn't even realize it. I write in 9 a lot. I realize that 9.
I don't even know how that would sound.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Is that the riff you wrote?
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty. I like that.
Yeah.
It's funky.
Sure. 9/8. Actually,
Yeah.
I think it's 9/4. I don't know. One of the two.
It's weird.
But it's also very interesting to work with those types of things because sometimes as a listener, you don't notice.
Yeah.
Like there's a song by Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they don't usually do anything in that realm. But I think it's in 7.
What
7/4.
song?
It's called Ethiopia. It's from their album, With You, or I forget. It was in 2011.
Okay.
Very underrated record. That was my first record by Red Hot Chili Peppers that I ever heard, and it's very, very underrated. It's a very, very good songs, and I'm not a big Chili Peppers fan, honestly.
I like a handful of their songs.
Yeah.
When Dark Necessities came out,
Yeah.
that's a really it's a funky song.
Yeah.
And I just vibe with it really well.
That's the only good song on that album.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the only song I've listened to,
Yeah.
so. But I vibe with some of their stuff. I don't really listen to them all that much. So.
But anyway, back to
our record.
Yeah, our record, Air record.
Air record.
It's a record made in the air.
Oof.
But no, they're all like Caleb has he understands how to write just kind of like a classic song,
a catchy song.
Yeah, classic,
but not a
song.
Pop song. Necessarily.
Yeah, not really, because it's all it almost has like this folk thing to it the way he writes, but then we add certain things to it and adds a whole other element.
We have our own sound. I mean, we really do. No other band I can think of sounds like us.
I'm very excited to experiment more with writing as we go along, because I mean, there's even some songs that I wrote a long time ago that wasn't even originally supposed to be for ALA that is a little bit more on the progressive side, like that song Untethered.
Okay.
It's like 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
But we were wanting to do like an EP at some point for slightly heavier songs, because on this record we have 3 I don't want to say heavy, but they're heavier songs. They're a little bit more punk oriented. They're a little bit more riff oriented.
Which ones are you? I mean, I'm Heavy for sure.
I'm Heavy, which is it's a song about like we wrote it
to be a heavy song.
Yeah, it's like we have this riff, we have a breakdown. It's about the song. The song is about being heavy. That song, and then Little White Lies I kind of throw in there because it is kind of riffy. It is kind of like more distorted tones. And then we have the song AJDD, which is a little bit more that we already talked about a little bit. There's a riff in the middle of that song that, in my opinion, is very, very, very southern rock.
Yes,
and,
it is.
Besides that, it's almost like a punk. It's definitely very reminiscent of a punk song. That one's the one I'm very excited to do on bass.
Yeah,
because it's going to move around a lot.
Bass is going to add a lot to these songs.
Yeah.
Because right now they're just a bunch of guitars and effects.
Yeah.
And then vocals, which they sound great, but I'm really waiting to feel that, you know?
There's a lot of high end right now.
Yeah.
But that'll be taken care of soon. One of these days I'm probably going to go through and just like record demo bass just real quick, because I can record bass a lot more efficiently than I can record.
You're a very skilled bassist.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I picked that up when I was 14.
Yeah.
And then I think it was 4 months into playing, I joined the worship band at Bethesda.
Yeah.
And I've been playing live music ever since. And I mean, it's just the thing that I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I absolutely love playing bass, and I am way more proficient at that than playing guitar or singing anything else.
See, it's funny. I love creating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anymore that I'm in a similar realm. I haven't been playing hardly very much bass recently. I've just been writing and recording.
That's what really gets me is writing and creating. Playing the stuff, it's fun, but that's not why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I'm doing it because I just love creating the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have this done, I'm going to be stoked because this is something I've wanted to do forever.
To have a product, to have this, to even be able to just
even just to have a product. Because I've been a part of bands that I was involved in some of the production.
Yeah.
Not the writing.
Yeah.
And to have something that is ours.
Yeah.
We spent time, we poured hours into to make it what it is.
Yeah.
Is what I'm really excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
And I really am proud of what we've done so far, and it's not even close to what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. I'm always the most excited. Like, I love being creative and writing this stuff, but I'm able to still find so much joy in performing live every time.
And I miss performing. I miss playing the show and having that kind of adrenaline. And
it's a huge stress relief for me. It's and
it's kind of the anticipation of waiting for it. That is like when you have the show, it's a release.
And when you have like a crowd there who hasn't seen you play in a long time, and you're just like, I want to blow your mind. I want to show you something that you can't have anywhere else.
That's almost why I want to do GBC Jam.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to. I wanted to blow people's mind.
Yeah,
in a certain way. You know? Like
I want to do it either way.
Yeah,
whether we market
actually,
it.
We found a place, thankfully, to do it whenever we get to the point where we can actually find out when we want to do it.
Yeah.
But we found a place, and so it's just a waiting game now to see when.
Yeah.
But I feel like whenever that happens, we'll definitely have ALA playing. We'll definitely have Ayoka playing.
Maybe Tyler could come in for a visit.
That would be lovely.
It would be a maybe comeback show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be cool.
Honestly, like I had a whole R&B-esque type set planned
that was
for the last
that was the last event, right?
Yeah, that was the last show that was
kind of like
happen.
mega thing, because you had a bunch of bands that had played or that would have played that were going to be in it, and a bunch of guests to come and sing and do stuff.
The final act was going to be CeCe Winston, Haley Burns, and Amy McIntyre all guesting on vocals. But it was a lot of, like, we were going to play Redbone, we were going to play Sade, we were even going to play some Tool that Tyler was going to sing. It was sounding so good, and we had horns for everything. Yeah. We had horns to a Tool song. Everything was sounding so beautiful, and then it just didn't happen. So I really, I still want that act to happen, that show. And the only thing missing from it now is Tyler, since he's in New York.
Which that's an easy planning fix, you know?
Well, I don't know, because he has to be in for rehearsals and things like that.
Sure, yeah.
But Tyler is one of the absolute most professional musicians I've worked with.
He absolutely is.
Yeah, he knows how to learn his parts, come in prepared.
Yep.
He's good at that. He's taught me a lot over the years about how to, sort of act like a band leader but not be overbearing about it. He's just great at staying focused but knowing when to have fun, all these different things. He taught me a lot.
Oh, and that's it's funny you mentioned band leader, because that was always kind of Caleb or me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just because you were younger and you weren't playing as long as me and Caleb, and now that you have some time under your belt, you feel a bit more accomplished.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I know what I'm doing now versus then.
You probably know more than I know as far as what you're doing.
Yeah.
I kind of just fumble my way through life.
You have to think about this, Brennan. The entire time that you were in Virginia, and even the time that you came, since you came back, I've been playing with projects stopped the entire time.
And that is something that I've noticed over the course of the last 6 months, since we were almost year since we've been kind of back together playing and doing stuff.
Because we
were preparing for a show that was supposed to happen in summer.
Well, it was originally supposed to be the end of August.
Then it was moved to October. When was Caleb's wedding? That was
in June.
So
it was early mid-June.
It was right around June that we started to. What was it, or was it before?
Well, We reconnected when I was on the podcast when it was still a different type of podcast.
Yeah.
But even before that, I saw you and Caleb at the music festival.
Yeah.
These two guys you probably know.
Glenn and Mitch.
Yeah, Glenn and Mitch. But I got up on stage there, and that was kind of like... It's a funny thing that happens whenever you start kind of reconnecting with a friend or anybody like that, where you don't see them for a very, 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 very long time, and then you see them, and it's a little bit shorter of a time. Like, I hadn't seen you in like a year or something. And then it was probably like 5 months, and then Caleb's wedding, and then like 1 month, and then every weekend.
Yeah.
It just slowly got shorter and shorter each time.
Well, and the podcast was something completely different, and now you're very much so a part of everything that I'm doing, and I'm a part of what you're doing. And that's just kind of the way that the wind blows. Yeah. I mean, it really has been my relationship with everybody here, those that I've connected with, stayed connected with, just because it's that like spark. It's almost like like why people go back to their ex. Yeah, but in a like healthy kind of way. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Because like we all had kind of our own falling outs, if you call it that, but it was never let it get to that point. It
was just like
hey, break.
Yeah, it just kind of happened naturally because I felt like we all sort of would get to our own point in our life where
things needed to refresh.
We're kind of transitioning into a different person, going into a different period, and then we're able to take that period, reflect on it, take from it what you will, and then get back to where you kind of want to be. And
I think that's kind of where we're at now, is we've all kind of experienced life in our own ways, and we connect more maybe with these songs than what we did, if whether it's from a purely nostalgic way or because I mean they're just good songs. Yeah. But there's the nostalgia aspect, and like I think that songs can speak to you in different times in your life. Oh yeah. Because you experience things differently and words reflect differently on you.
You can, I don't know, one of the really fun things I think there is to do is like you hear a song for the first time and you think of this, and then 6 months later something happens and you listen to that song again, you're able to look at it in a completely different light because you're able to take the words and there's almost a new meaning behind them. Yeah. There's almost a completely new way of looking at it. But there is, I don't know, that's one of the fantastic things about music. There's so many different ways of looking at things to fully understand them. And I don't know what is the most important when it comes to creativity. Does the writer's full intent is that the most important thing? I don't know if the writer's intent is the most important thing. It is great to have good writer intent, but it's also good to a certain extent be vague so that the listener can really get from it whatever they can get from it, if that makes sense.
I think if it's a good song, it doesn't matter if their intent was for it to be about a specific thing. You're gonna attribute whatever emotion is in the song to what you're going through. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if they're talking about getting bit by a snake or if it's a song about ADD. I mean, it doesn't matter, because if it's a good song and a good product, and it almost doesn't have to have an intent to be something that somebody gets something from. Yeah. Even if it's just the music, the instrumental aspect of it, where they hear something that sounds good, the lyrics are nothing. You know, it's music as a whole speaks to a person beyond what words can.
For 100%. 100p.
So that
needs to be a shirt again. I want to reiterate that.
Sure.
100p.
100p.
Just in quotation marks.
All right.
100p. Can that be a collection? Sure. 100p collection.
100p collection.
100p collection. For those at home that can't see, we are saying 100%.
100%.
100p.
100 cc's of p.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds delightful. I'm a big Golden Shower fan.
You should have a bit of that in the next Nonsensical Ramblings.
That's why I don't really like the yellow beanies. It's like a fetish thing. It's like, I want to
anytime
like
you
it,
see
it,
you're just like, oh.
Get an awkward thing in my pants.
Yeah, understood. Yeah. Well, we've kind of came full circle. We
did come full circle. At least I did.
Ben.
Yes.
I don't know if you can say that.
Why not?
I don't know.
Who are we regulated by?
I don't know.
I'm regulated by you, Brennan. Are you telling me I can't say that?
No, I thought it was hilarious. I think that maybe,
Yes.
just maybe,
Just maybe.
just in case.
Baby, oh no.
Do we want to play a little bit of one of the tracks? Maybe?
We might be able to throw in a little bit of City Limits.
Okay.
Possibly. Just give them a little snippet. Just a little snippet.
Okay. I'll throw in a little bit of City Limits. How do you want to do this? Do you want to play it on the phone?
Sure, and then I can go back and do the thing.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, you're going to hear a little bit of something. Where do you want to play them? You want to do the end? The bridge on?
Yeah, why not?
That's a good
Just
idea.
give them a good taste of it.
Which, let me clarify, this is not mixed. There's no bass. There's no real drums.
Yeah,
currently.
this is raw as raw can be.
I mean, it's not that raw. It's a little raw. But, that's how we like it in the initial stages. Just to give you a little understanding of what we are trying, because we've been talking about these songs for, however many podcasts, and you haven't heard anything. So we'll give you a little snippet of what they are currently, but it will not be the final product. But it's, it's getting there. So I think we're going to have this here in just a moment. I'm stalling because Brennan is trying to get this thing going, and I'm not sure if it's... Do you want me to pull it up? I've got it. I know exactly.
Oh, then you pull it up, because I have attempted
Jesus
to,
Christ.
and I can't find
God
it.
damn.
Yeah, you're right. I have grossly failed our fan base. Yeah, that's a noob move there. Ben's finding it now, and we're going to play the song.
Oh.
We're going to play the song here in just a second.
Oh, my God.
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Population 1009. Living in hell, I guess that's fine. I'm 1,000 miles from home and no, I'm not lying. That was a temperature you won't have to worry about dying. Well, it's a town called Hell in Michigan, and I will tell this tale so I can wish again. And if it freezes over in winter, I'll be in time for dinner. Well, here in hell, the air feels a lot thinner. Whoa.
And that was just a taste of City Limits.
It's definitely, we still need to do some polishing up on
The
a lot
vocals
of
are
things.
raw.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot of anything that we've done to the mixing of them.
Yeah,
They're,
just a little bit of reverb.
so don't take that for what it's going to be. It's going to sound a little bit more polished than that. But fun fact about City Limits, one of the name changes that you guys had while I was gone was Liddy Simmons.
Yeah, we decided on Liddy Simmons, and I'm not entirely sure why. I'm pretty sure, we had decided, okay, we're going to change the band name. We've had enough of Absolute Love Affair. We've had enough of that name. It's, frankly, it's whatever. It's awful. But now, so we were going to change it, and, I had come up with some ideas. Jesse came up with a few ideas, and Caleb had a few ideas. And we were all just like, no, not that, not that. And then someone said Liddy Simmons. And we're just like, I've heard worse ones today. And we had just gotten to a point of weeks of not coming up with a name. It was just none of us completely hate Liddy Simmons. And one of us was like, yeah. And the rest of us were like, yeah. And so we tried it. And then we...
Had I been there, I would have put a stop to it.
Well, you know what? Why weren't you there, Brennan?
Well, I moved back to Virginia Beach.
Well, you know what? I see that as being selfish and churlish.
That is fair.
Thank you.
And on that note, we will end this podcast.
All right. Well, that sounds delightful. I will see you on the flip side.
That the flip side being nonsensical ramblings.
Yes.
You're talking to the listener.
Yeah.
You will be haunted by his dreams and thrilled by his nightmares. Yeah, that's going to wrap this up. Again, we have a collection dropping as you're listening to this Monday. The code you can use is MMP for Moment Makers Podcast to save yourself 10%.
Yes, sirree. All right. You all have a good one.
You have a good one here.